God, do we love that song? It's such a good song to use for an intro. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another Self-Taught Japanese in Rosetta Stone with 3. I'm Spike, and I'm here teaching myself Japanese in Rosetta Stone 3 and documenting the process. Congratulations if you found the video, especially this far into the series. This is episode 122. And as you can see, we're about the halfway point in Unit 4. I've done Unit 1, I've done Unit 2, and I've done Unit 3 as part of the series, obviously working my way through the material. I'm now on Unit 4. Just gone past the core lesson 3 stuff on the 6th, so 3 days ago. Yesterday I did the pronunciation because I was supposed to have done that on the 7th, but missed a day because my car's MOT had to be done and failed. So I'm having to find time to fix that whilst I'm doing these, and also it's half term, Easter half term here in the UK. So I'm also looking after my daughter. She's currently with my mum at the moment, just so I can do this stream. Yeah, so it's just finding all the time to get these streams done, get these videos out and up there, of me teaching myself Japanese, basically. So yeah, yesterday I did the pronunciation. That seems to be relatively easy. It was a shorter set of slides than I was expecting. Today's going to be even shorter. It's the vocabulary. So we've done pronunciation. We're now on vocabulary. I think this one is highlighting the bits in between the nouns, verbs, and adverbs. The construction of the sentence, the bits that I look out for to identify that I am the markers that I use to be able to identify what the sentence is actually about and how it's structured. So I'm hoping that it will be relatively easy compared to yesterday's. I think this one will be a little bit easier. Before we begin, though, I'm just going to grab from behind me the classic reference sheet. Now, I've got the alphabetized hiragana here. That's mostly for the first session stuff. There's recently, since started in Unit 4, I think specifically from core lesson 2 onwards, there was some stuff in the pronunciation and vocabulary, writing, grammar section of those modules that started introducing the katakana alphabet, which is obviously a bit more angular and is for foreign name translations and so on and so forth, which we've encountered some of. For example, pashteriku for plastic. But I found that yesterday I was writing way more in reference on the katakana sheet than I have been on anything else. So if you've got your reference sheet and you've made one that's very similar, which I highly suggest when teaching yourself, then obviously katakana is probably the side of the paper that you're going to want to be focusing on. Then we've got classic numbers in case we encounter them again, and of course the tenses. This is probably one of the most important sheets I have of reference, just because again it has how the tense grammar works, which obviously, if you've ever done any other like secondary school language, whether it be French, German, or particularly Latin, then this kind of format of learning in and out of textbooks and classrooms was paramount to learning those languages, or at least grasping those languages in translation between westernized English and where either our language has come from with English, or how others have been built upon from either the Greeks or the Romans, particularly in continental Europe. So again, I'm applying that same philosophy when it's come to writing out my reference sheet for the tenses for the Japanese language. This section has been incredibly helpful. Highly recommend it. And then last but not least, we have my sheet with the days of the week on, and some phrases here of smelly, it's good, taste bad, delicious. The seasons, just in case. A couple of examples, days of the week, month and year, as you can see here. Yep. Another example, a couple of example sentences. What do you like to do? And then an example one answer, which leads into these answers that started to crop up with the positive and negative in there, which also feature forms of contractions in this later material, which also very helpful to have some form of reference with in encountering this stuff. Again, I only reference it in these sessions here on stream. I will occasionally read it and look at it for remembrance outside of stream, or the occasional anime subtitle perhaps. But listening, I will say this, listening to Japanese currently, whether it's dubbed for anime or whether it's like a song that's being sung, I am finding it easier and easier to pick out and hear words or phonetical sounds to build up a picture of what the word might be in Japanese, like this program Rosetta Stone does in teaching you. So I'm at least getting the potential shape of the Japanese word written as if it was in English, like in this program, which has given me a bit more scope to be able to understand Japanese. And then also, if I'm encountering something along the way that I've heard, I can at least reference that particular tense of a verb or pronoun or adjective, whatever. So it's starting to filter in, albeit a bit scrappily and a bit on the rough side. I know where my weaknesses are, like I've mentioned before. It's in my speaking skills with pulling Japanese sentences out of thin air. The knowledge is in there, but I'd have to sit down and take a little bit of time to either write it out to speak it first, or it's still very basic, like singular words. I struggle a little bit with some of the binders in the sentences, like our, there's, is, ours, ands, to, etc., that will appear in the Japanese language purely because it's in a different order, and I haven't actually extrapolated what ni, no, do, etc., that you will see in the material. I haven't actually extracted what they are yet in their purest form of what words they are in a sentence. Again, because this program doesn't necessarily space those words properly in the English translation, so it makes it hard to place if it's actually part of a word that's been broken up for the translation for teaching, or whether it appears like that in Japanese with how it is written and then read with regards to whether it's hiragana, katakana, etc. But that's what I'm here for. I'm learning as we go. Right, so without further ado, I'm going to begin on the vocabulary module. Not by slipping over to the repeat. I'm going to do, there we go. Do this one. Ichi ni san yon go. Yes, it was successful. It didn't seem like it was picking it up there. And I assume it's because it's going to now take control over my microphone.
金属
Yes.
金属金属
And that's now silly loud. Why are you not at 10? There we go. So, come on, microphone. What are you chatting? Have to put some gain on you for no reason this morning because it's playing up again, which might resolve itself as we go through the material. So, kinzoku is metal. Pick the brass.
金属
Ki
木
is wood. So we'll take the wood.
木
And
紙
kami is paper. Oh look, we've only got 10
Kami.
slides going here as we are. So there we go. Kinzoku, 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 ki, kami. Metal, metal, metal. Wood, wood, paper. Fabulous. This is what we were doing yesterday. Let's go to slide 2.
プラスチッ
There
ク
we go.
プラス
Plastic.
チックプラスチック
Plastic. 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 The bucket is plastic.
プラスチック
Pra-
紙
Kami.
紙
Kami. It's paper. Again, we'll pick the scroll.
紙木
And then ki is wood. So we're just going to pick the wood.
木
There we go. See, some stuff in Japanese really is just a direct... again, it's a very stereotypical way to speak Japanese, is to inflect an Asian accent on English. However, that's exactly what the Japanese do when it comes to certain words in their dialect, in their dictionary, in their language. Purely because they don't have the word for that, so they took whatever they were told it was in broad English, and then they Japanified, they Nihoned the word to fit with their particular lettering, wording, phonetic system, which is why you see instances like this: plastic, plastic. Anyway, moving on. Slide 3.
椅子はプラスチックでできています。
椅子はプラスチックでできています。It's gotta be the chair is made of plastic.
はしごは金属でできています。
The ladder is made of metal. はしごは金属でできています。できて I assume is the made of bit, or the できてで is made of, because it's ladder is metal of made there is. Would be what I'm translating the English into Japanese and reading this sentence as it lays, right? As it lies. Hashiko, ladder, kinzoku, metal, dekte, made, and imas, there is. So reading it backwards, there is made of metal, a ladder. There we go.
チケットは紙でできています。
Chiketo wa kami de dekitemasu. The ticket is made of paper. There we go.
テーブルは木でできています。
The table is made of wood. Teiburu wa ki de dekitemasu. And there we go. That's that slide done. So you can see in this example, at least, how easy it is to break down Japanese sentence structure once you know what individual words are, and that you recognize that if spoken forwards in English, it sounds like, or replicates, I don't say replicate, maybe George Lucas did this, it's Yoda speaking, right? In direct translation from English to Japanese, or when you write Japanese down and then speak it in English forwards. It's just, imagine it's Yoda speaking, and it's very similar in how it gets placed, right? It's the easiest mechanism I can think for people to remember how the Japanese sentence structure appears to be placed from a Western English speaker's point of view, right? If you can learn that trick, or you know that trick on how he speaks, then you'll know that the patter for Japanese is roughly similar. And I hazard a guess, again, as I've mentioned before in videos, George Lucas went on a visit to Japan, found this interesting, figured out how they speak and talk, and that's why Yoda speaks that way, as a sensei, as the teacher, as the master, like you would find in the martial arts, etc. And he supplanted that into that character as a personality trait or an immutable characteristic that we now all know and love, or use as a meme and take the mick out of. But essentially, that is what is happening here, and is an aid to my memory of sentence structure in Japanese. So then it becomes easy to highlight and recognize specific words. Hashigo, ladder. Kinzoku, metal. Dekte, made of. Imas, there is or there are. So it makes it easier to pass the language, and therefore easier and more efficient to learn using these tools, at least in my experience. And I'm hoping that this series has highlighted this in my commentary. Anyway, moving to slide 4.
小切手は紙でできています。
The checkbook is made of paper, or the check is made of paper. So, 小切手は紙でできています。
コインは金属でできています。
コインは金属でできています。The coin is made of metal. Lovely.
クレジットカードは
We
プ
love
ラ
it.
スチックでできています。
クレジットカードはプラスチックでできています。 credito cardo. So the credit card, obviously, is made of plastic. There we go. See, again, once you get into the Western English that's been taken and supplanted into the Japanese language, the kanji that depict this stuff, it does come up quite easily. That that's quite easily a English word or a Western English speaking word, spoken word, or term that has been Japonified, Nihoned. They've taken it and just gone, let's try and say this in Japanese as if we were saying it in English. And I think that's where some of the Japanese stereotype comes from, that's where they have trouble with like L's, like hard shapes. You know, they have a hard time with some things like L and what's the other one? There's another letter that they don't really use or come across too much. Which is why with pronunciation, we have as an English stereotype the way that Japanese or Asian people in general speak, because of their softer, subtler, more context-based, rounded sounding language. Let's go to slide 5.
このサングラスは安いです。
These sunglasses are more.
このカメラは安いです。
This camera is less.
このカメラは
I'm an idiot.
安いです。
No, I mucked that up.
このカメラは高いです。
That's the expensive one.
この
Takai.
サングラスは高いです。
Those sunglasses are expensive.
このカメラは安いです。
Camera is cheap.
このサングラスは安いです。
These sunglasses are cheap, or the sunglasses are cheap. There we go. このカメラは高いです. Sorry for the yawns. I'm learning. このサングラスは安いです。このカメラは安いです。And このサングラスは高いです. Beautiful. Let's go to slide 6. Let's see what we've got.
この車は安いです。
So this car is cheap.
このワンピースは安いです。
This dress is cheap.
この車は高いです。
This car is expensive.
このドレスは高いです。
This dress is expensive. So just a quick thing, takai is, again, it can mean 2 or 3 things. It's bigger than, it's more than, or in this context with money, it's expensive. Yasui is the same context or contextual. It's less than, or it's smaller than, and boop, it's cheap. Let's go to slide 7.
このテーブルは重いです。
このテーブルは重いです. Here we go. This TV is heavy.
このテーブルは重いです。このシーツは軽いです。
God, my eyes are dumb and need checking. このシーツは軽いです. So this sheet is light.
このテレビは重いです。
This is the one I thought it was. This is the one I thought I was clicking for. このテレビは重いです. The TV is heavy.
このテーブルは重いで
Because
す。
they're so close together. このテーブルは重いです. This table is heavy. Or the
こ
table
の
is
コ
heavy.
インは軽いです。
このコインは軽いです. This coin is light. Or the coin is light. There we go. このテーブルは重いです. このテレビは重いです. このコインは軽いです. このシーツは軽いです. Let's go slide 8. Let's see what we've got.
これは速いです。
It is fast.
これは重いです。
It is heavy.
これは軽いです。
It is light.
この車は遅いです。
This car is slow. So, これは速いです. It is fast. Or that is fast. これは軽いです. This is light. Or it is light. That is light. Kono kuruma wa osoi desu. This car, or the car, is slow. Kore wa omoi desu. It is, well, that is heavy. Because it is a big, massive crate pallet box. Anyway, so then, let's go.
この若い男の人の髪は青いです。
Oh, he has blue hair.
この年を取った女の人の髪は白髪です。
And the elderly lady's hair is white.
この年を取った男の人の髪は白髪です。
Same sentence, just about the older gentleman. So, この年を取った男の人の髪は白です。
この若い女の人の髪は黒いです。
この若い女の人の髪は黒いです。And her hair is black. The lady's hair is black. This is all about wearing hair. So, この年を取った女の人の髪は白です。The elderly lady's hair is white. この若い男の人の髪は青いです。The man's hair is blue. この若い女の人の髪は黒いです。The lady's hair is black. この年を取った男の人の髪は白髪です。The elderly gentleman's hair is white. Let's go slide 10. Last of this module.
彼が一番たくさんのリンゴを持っています。
He has way more apples. He's carrying way more apples. This guy at the end.
彼はもっとたくさんのリンゴを持っています。
He has more apples.
彼はリンゴを持っています。
This is kind of done backwards. They should have done this in order. So, 彼はリンゴを持っています。He has some apples. 彼はもっとたくさんのリンゴを持っています。He has even more apples. And then 彼が一番たくさんのリンゴを持っています。He has even more apples. He has the most apples. Anyway, there we go. 36 correct out of the 36 that are there. One or two mistakes. Not too bad and shabby for the vocabulary there. Let's go straight into the repetition from this section here from the Core Lesson 2 modules and repeat what we've already done.
演劇、演劇、演劇。
Engeki is play. Yeah.
演劇、
Theatre play.
コンサート、コンサート。
Concerto. It's concert. So here's another katakana based foreign word that's been used in Japanese.
コンサート、映画、
Eiga is watching a film.
映画。
Here we have it. Engeki. 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 Concerto. Concerto. And eiga. No, side two.
サッカー、サッ
Soccer.
カー、サッカ
Soccer. It's football. Or soccer.
ー、サッカー、ゴルフ、ゴルフ。
Gorufu. 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 Something I hope to be
ゴルフ、
doing this
テニ
Saturday.
ス、
Please weather, please weather, please be good this Saturday so that me and Benji can go golfing. Be fantastic. Please weather, please. Let's all fingers crossed and pray for the good weather on Saturday, this coming Saturday. Please. And then tennis. This is of course tennis.
テニス、
So these are good examples of Western English word that's been used in Japanese that is a foreign word that they've Japonified or Nihoned and put into the katakana alphabet to produce these words that are obviously the words for certain sports. So we've got soccer, golf and tennis that are pretty standardized, I guess, around the world in various other languages. But yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Although having an alphabet specifically for names and foreign
女
words,
の人たちはサッカーをしています。
not everyone does that. So, 女の人たちはサッ カーをしています。So the girls are playing football.
女の人たちはゴルフをしています。
女の人たちはゴルフをしています。So 女の人 is woman. 女の人たち is plural. So the tachi becomes plural. So 女の人たち is ladies, women. Wa gorufu. So they're at golf. And oshitemasu is oshite is to play. Or they are playing. Right? So let's break it down.
女
That
の人
sentence.
たちはテニスをしています。
女の人たちはテニスをしています。Ladies are playing tennis. There we go. Nice one. Let's go to slide 4. Let's get this on.
彼らはラジオを聞いています。
Oh, well, there's another word, radio. Well, it's the radio, isn't it? So, karerawa. So, they, radio, okiteimasu. The kite is to listen. So, they are listening to the radio.
この人たちは演劇を見ています。
See, mite is to watch. So, この人たちは演劇を見ています。They're watching a play.
男の子とお父さんは映画を見ています。
The boy and his dad are film watching. 男の子とお父さんは映画を見ています。There we go. So, watching a film. So, mite is to watch. Ega is the film or movie. Otokonoko is the boy. Otosan is the dad or father. And there you have it. An easy breakdown of a sentence. So long as you can break down those bits in these small sentences, you can understand each individual word. The bits that are in between, the actual grammar, the wa, the o, etc., the to, all of that stuff kind of, like I say, it's blended out a little bit for me. I understand what the sentence is saying, but I haven't yet extrapolated those words to get the actual translations and therefore what they do as these binders in the sentence to manipulate what comes before or after them in the sentence. But contextually, I understand the sentence as a whole in how it is read and spoken forward. So, let's move to slide 5.
お茶、
Just a note. Ocha, tea.
人参、
Ninjin. Probably because it's close to ginger. Should be the orange carrots, right?
ジュース、
The juice is the orange juice.
オレンジ、
Orangey from could it be oranges? I think it is. Orangey for oranges. Ninjin for carrots. Ocha for tea and juice for juice. Let's go to slide 6. That was an easy slide.
この男の人はゴルフが好きです。
Ah, the man likes to play golf or likes to go golfing. この男の人はゴルフが好きです。好きです。Sorry.
この女の子は赤い靴が好きではありません。
この女の子は赤い靴が好きではありません。She doesn't like her red boots.
この男の子はテニスが好きではありません。
So when something goes from imas to dewa arimasen, as opposed to des, or decimas, or imas des, or whatever, when you've got a sen or the dewa, it becomes the contracted form doesn't like, or is not fond of. They do not like. As opposed to there is, it's now there aren't, and there isn't. So he doesn't like tennis. この男の子はテニスが好きではありません。
この女の人たちはお茶が好きです。
この女の人たちはお茶が好きです。The older ladies, the ladies like the tea. Let's go to slide 7.
男の子はお母さんよりたくさんのジュースを持っています。
Oh, so the boy has more juice than his mum. 男の子はお母さん, so the boy and mum, よりたくさんのジュースを持っています. Has more than juice You see what I'm saying? It gets a little bit much. But I do believe, if I remember saying, in the reference sheet, Yori here, as this says, the example I've got is Sensei wa gakusei yori takusan no hon no mottemasu. The teacher has more books than the student. So in this one, there is more juice there's more juice for the boy than his mum, essentially. Might not have the fully correct placement of translation, but that is essentially what it is, which is why I think that's correct.
先生は学生よりたくさんの本を持っています。
Oh, what do you know? It's it's the sentence that I have on the reference sheet here with the arrows to show which bit's the positive bit and how the sentence gets structured here. Sensei wa gakusei yori takusan no hon no mottemasu. So yeah, the teacher has more books than the student.
女の子はお父さんより大きいケーキを持っていま
Okay,
す。
so we can see that Onnanako, the girl, has more cake than her dad. Onnanako wa otosan, dad. Yori ookii keiki has more cake, Omota imasu. There is than, or than there is. Imasu, there is, omot, more than, it's happening to, it's, you get what I mean. There are some bits still in breakdown that I'm not too sure of, but I am learning the contextual of the Japanese language, and this does make sense because I can see each of the words individually, but then in translation, the context of it changes or gets changed by the o and the wa, and I'm not too sure how that affects the particular grammar of things like mot or the yorioki. Yeah, all I know is that Onanoko wa tosan yorioki keiki o motteimasu. The girl has more cake than her dad. I did do a breakdown, I'm sure, when I went through this the first time, which is why I have this particular the student sentence in my what's it's at the bottom, my reference at the bottom, and have a bit of a graph to show how that sentence works, so that it makes sense to me, so that contextually I can read it and understand it. However, trying to explain it in the breakdown, I've slept since then, since I broke it down. But it does make sense because then that's going to happen.
女の子はお母さんよりたくさんのオレンジを持っています。
Onnanoko wa okasan yori takusan no oranji o motteimasu. Girl has more oranges than her mum again. Okay, excuse me, it's positive to one side. So, of course, it follows that whoever is at the front, the Onanoko is like, it's like when we say, I did this in a sentence, it's saying that the girl did this in the sentence. It's the lead, which is why the bits after it, they make sense to me as to who has more and who has less, because of the qualifiers. You've got the Yori Takusan and the Orenji Mot. Yeah. Anyway, let's go slide 8. Let's go!
男の人は息子さんほど大きいケーキを持っていません。
So we can immediately see keiki, we're on about cake. Immediately we're on about cake, so it has to be this slide. And we're now learning, and when we look at the context of the slides, that the boy has more cake than his dad. But see how it's now changed to imasen? Because now it's a negative, and that's why we now have hodo instead of yori, right? Because now it's a negative sentence about the subject. Otokonoshito, the dad, the man, because musuko-san is the son. So, otokonoshito wa musuko-san hodo keiki o motte imasen. The man has less cake than his son.
女の子は友達ほど大きいパンを持っていませ
We
ん。
know that pan is bread. And we're talking about from the context and viewpoint of the girl. Onanoko, because she's the lead. The tomodachi is her male friend. Hodo okipan, she has less bread than her friend. Onanoko wa tomodachi hodo okipan no motte imasen. And she has less bread.
男の人は奥さんほどたくさんのお茶を持っていません。
So we go to ocha, it's about the tea, and we're going from the man's perspective again. So otoko no hito wa, and then we're on about his wife, okusan. And so he has less tea than his wife. Otoko no hito wa, okusan, wife, hodo takusan, less than tea, o motteimasen. Yeah, otoko no hito wa, okusan hodo takusan no ocho o motteimasen. The man has less tea than his wife.
女の人は息子さんほどたくさんのジュースを持っていません。
女の人は息子さんほどたくさんのジュースを持っていません。The lady has less juice than her son. There we go. So I'll just hold on that so it can be used.
女の人はご主人ほどたくさんお金を持っていません。
So now we're flipping it round. We're going from the female's perspective and her husband, Goshujin. And we're talking about okane, money. So, 女の人はご主人ほどたくさんお金を持っていません。The lady has less money than her husband.
男の人は奥さんよりたくさんパンを持っています。
Back to the male perspective of having more bread than your wife. 男の人は奥さんよりたくさんパンを持っています。
男の人は奥さんほどたくさんパンを持っていません。
Back to the male perspective, and we're talking about bread and his wife. 男の人は奥さんほどたくさんパンを持っていません。The man has less bread than his wife.
女の人はご主人よりたくさんお金を持っています。
To the female perspective, 女の人はご主人 husband よりたくさんお金を持っています。She has more money than her husband. So that must be this one. 女の人はご主人よりたくさんお金を持っています。Fabulous. I'm just going to leave that there for a second because I think these past two slides are probably the most important and the easiest to get tripped up on when looking at identifying which is which, selecting which is which, because you're understanding the grammar. Because again, it's caught me out going from imas to imasen, going from positive to negative, depending on the perspective. Let's go to slide 10. So we're asking a question. So it's got to have deska in it. So we're going to go for this one because oki is larger. So dochira no dobutsu ga oki desu ka? Which animal is bigger?
どちらの動物が大きいですか？こちらの動物が大きいです。
This animal is bigger. Now we're going to this one. We've got the answer of koshira no dobutsu ga chisai desu. So this animal is smaller. So we're looking for chisai. So どちらの動物が小さいですか？
どちらの動物が小さいですか？こちらの動物が小さいです。
This animal is smaller. So now we're going to which one of these is red? So どちらの果物が赤いですか? Which one of these fruits is red?
どちらの果物が赤いですか？こちらの果物が赤いです。
こちらの果物が赤いです。And then last on this one, we're looking for midori. Which one of these is green? どの果物が緑ですか?
どの果物が緑ですか？この果物が緑です。
この果物が緑です。Let's get slide 11. Last
5ドル。
5ドル。 So which one's the dollars? $5.
15ポンド
£10. 15 pondo. Oh, that's
15
euros.
ポ
I'm
ン
an
ド
absolute idiot. And it's not, it's 15 because I'm an idiot. Gotta count.
10ユーロ
There we go, there's 10 euros. 10 euro.
5ドル
$5. Start again.
円
N. The cents.
15ポンド
15 pondo. There you go, £15. There we go. And the yen, I should say, is the yen of Japan. At least that's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure there's with the hole in the 50-cent yen piece. Anyway, let's go to the last slide. Slide 12.
人参はいくらですか？
How much are these carrots? And these carrots are 3ドル. 人参は
人参
3
は
ドル。
3ドルです。お茶はいくらですか？
How much is this tea? お茶はいくらですか? And お茶は2ユーロです. It's 2 euros. Or
お
the
茶
tea
は
is 2
2
euros.
ユーロです。映画のチケットはいくらですか？
How much for the movie ticket? And 映画のチケットは9ポンドです. It's £9.
映画のチケットは9ポンド
The
で
movie
す。
ticket is £9. Thank you, please, very much. 43 correct out of the 43, because again, I'm not going to be moving on until I get 100% on every single slide, and that includes when I'm sat there getting it wrong there and then. As you've witnessed before in the videos, I think that's a pretty good, efficient way to make sure you get these all correct and right. And there you have it. That's me documenting my progress in the vocabulary module there for all of you to enjoy and learn from. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time here watching the video. Very much appreciate if you made it through to the end and are continuing to watch the series. Much respect and appreciative love to you all. It keeps me going. I'm glad to be here and making this for those who might want to learn the language, the Japanese language, at their own pace, convenience, leisure, without being pushed, punished, you know. The material is now there. I have a few comments about some of that material and the things that I'm learning along the way. I hope that some of it makes sense and some of it people understand and get to take it on board in aid to your own understanding of the Japanese language. Right, that's going to be all from me. Thank you for watching and for tuning in. As always, like, follow, share, and subscribe. You can catch these channels twitch.tv/xofficina and youtube.com/xofficina. They both link to each other, so if you find me on one platform, you can find me on the other. This live stream goes up immediately as it happens, and then a couple of minutes afterwards I'm exporting it to YouTube, and it's however long that process takes on their back end before the video is available on YouTube on my channel over there. Any comments, get in the comments down below in the videos. Try to keep the comments to the video that is relevant. If you wish to get in touch, make suggestions, constructive feedback, criticism, suggestions, things you'd like to see, things you'd like me to do, then please add the Discord server, get an invite on there. The links again are on both of the pages, both of the sites, both of the platforms for these channels. It's a free invite. You can just click on the link. It will take you to my server page. Just accept and read through the rules if you so choose, and then you can direct message me there, and we can chat impromptu there. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me, so I recommend using that method. Right, that's going to be all from me today. I'm going to attempt to make it back for tomorrow to get this grammar module section sorted. We'll have the lesson 3 grammar section for the core lesson 3 stuff, and then obviously the repeat from the core lesson 2 stuff from over here. And we'll just rinse and repeat that all the way up to the review, which I'm assuming I'm going to be finishing at some point through next week, seeing as the weekend is quickly approaching, and we've got all this to get through, which I'm hoping we'll get through next week. In time as well on the daily. I am going to attempt my best to not have things get in the way that stop me making these on the daily and bring them out to you. But as we all know, you know, real life gets in the way sometimes. I am a dad, so obviously my daughter, my family is the most important thing to me over work, over anything else, with music following a very close second and the neurodivergent mental health stuff third. So this qualifies in at a good high placed fourth. However, it's not the be all and end all when it comes to priorities for me. This is just something that I'm enjoying doing. I would like it to take off. I would like the community to grow. I would like more followers and likes and shares and subscriptions and so on and so forth. But as of now, I'm just glad to be providing an entertaining documentary of how it is possible to casually learn a language by yourself with the right materials and the right kind of ethic going on. And I think so far we're at episode 100 or video 122. I think I've been able to show that thus far, and I am going to continue to do so thus far as a noob, as a beginner, an amateur. I'm a little bit further up that rung, but this is still very early intro, elementary school style Japanese. It's definitely not JLMPT stuff or anything like that. Although you could say it's at the lower level ended stuff of that for recognition of your skills in Japanese if those SAT-like tests were done. So I do believe my understanding is getting there to a degree. But again, I am self-taught. This is how far I'm getting, how far I've got. And you can see if you watch through the series that where I came from is far and away where I'm at right now. So clearly it does work. It's just how much you put in is how much you get out. And I just want to show that you don't need to be stuck in a classroom. You don't need to be smashing out daily challenges on some form of app. You don't need to be paying for subscriptions and tools and over the ends odds for material to teach yourself a language, particularly when there are videos like my own out there that can point you in the right direction, show you some of the patterns to recognize, and hopefully the material that's being learnt from. So it is what it is. Anyway, that's going to be all from me today. I have other things to do, which is go take my child out and go play. So off to the play park we go find ourselves one with a zip line, and she can whiz up and down all day long. Thank you very much for joining me. If you've joined me, whether that's watching, listening in the background, Benji, I know you're out there. A shout out to Benubis TV. Recommend his channel for any gaming follows, although please bear in mind that's usually post 6, 7 or 8 p.m. UK time to play with primarily American followers. So obviously with them being on a 6 to 8 hour behind schedule UK time, it is a bit more of a late night stream, but that may be some of your people's fancy. It is advertised on my channel alongside a few select others, but obviously promoting my own wares here primarily first, but those guys do turn around and help build me up, particularly the IRL friends such as Ben himself. So much appreciated there for anyone who does jump in and find me either live stream on Twitch or goes and searches on the YouTubes. Again, like, follow, share, and subscribe. Twitch.tv/xofficina and YouTube.com/xofficina. That's me signing off for today. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, keep sane, and I guess I'll see you out there in the real world at some point. So take care, stay safe, keep sane, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.